Hello strategy gaming enthusiasts, my name is AlzaboHD, and in today's video, we are going to explore some of the most secretive strategies of Crusader Kings III. These tips and tricks are deeply hidden, and you could spend hours of crusading without seeing a single one. In this guide, we will dive deep into the Easter eggs, developer secrets, min-max strategies, and more to boost your knowledge war score. The first secret we'll uncover is how to de-stress for success, and as any extrovert knows, happiness is found by talking to a group of your 90 closest friends. In CK3, you can make your ruler completely immune to stress and avoid an early death, and much like in real life, the answer is friendship. Friendship is magic, and if you follow the diplomatic lifestyle path, unlock the befriend ability, make at least 20 friends, and unlock the confidants perk, you'll have a negative 100% stress gain and have no worries for the rest of your days. You could even plot the death of your own children or heir and not have a single care. Just be sure to keep sending friend requests to keep your friends list at over 20. Have you ever wondered if there was more to life other than being ridiculously good-looking? Well, if you want your monarchy of male models to secure a secret state, the Kingdom of Fashion is worth the wait. To play as this obscure and hidden kingdom, you'll first need the Royal Court DLC, be at peace, actually wear clothing, and either have you or your liege with a royal court that has level 4 fashion amenities. You'll also need a high level of diplomacy to successfully challenge any who dare oppose your drip, and if you've met the requirements, you'll now be able to take the decision to introduce a new fashion at court. If RNGesus finds your fashion worthy, you can obtain a critical success and get an event proclaiming you the King of Fashion. You'll now be able to change your primary title to the Kingdom of Fashion, but be sure to change the swag session laws of your fashional fiefdom, or else your heirs will lose the title and your drip will become derelict. Diverging its way onto number 8 on our list of realm rarities are 3 secret cultures you'll never likely see in CK3. When you diverge a culture in a vanilla campaign, results are often predictable, like when the Normans conquer Anglo-Saxons to produce the English culture. But there are other, more obscure cultures that require ridiculously specific circumstances in order for them to appear. You or the AI can, for example, diverge Old English to form New English by owning a kingdom in the steppe region, functionally recreating New York hundreds of years before its modern antecedent. Beta Israeli is really rare as well, which is seldomly formed as it requires an East African culture to diverge in a Levantine kingdom. But by far, the rarest divergent culture is Cooler Norwegian, an Easter egg that can only be seen if you play as the landless Magne Skaren. This Norwegian courtier of King Harald is the senior gameplay programmer of CK3, and, as a joke, developers hard-coded it so that when you land him and use him to diverge Norse culture, it creates a cooler variant instead of whatever it is today. There are many religions in CK3, and in a normal campaign, it's normally impossible to play or convert to the more interesting rare faiths. But surprisingly, reviving an extinct religion like paganism or Hellenism is actually quite easy when you stack multiplicative modifiers to reduce total conversion costs. This is most easily accomplished by starting as a Norse-cultured pagan, who have the malleable invader's cultural modifier for a negative 20% reduction to faith conversion cost, and also have access to the adventurer branch of the dynastic tree that has a further negative 50% reduction. For everyone else, you can undertake the learning lifestyle path to pick up apostasy for a massive negative 75% reduction, own Stonehenge as part of your domain for another negative 20%, and finally, educate your heirs to be cynical for an additional negative 20% and a high learning trait to set you straight. You can hit the conversion cost cap of 250 piety quite quickly, and you don't need to follow all of these steps to be able to convert to or revive any religion, but this is the best and fastest way to revive Hellenism, Zunbolism, or convert to that new Canarian faith with volcano worship. These restricted religions normally require hundreds of thousands of piety to create, so in your next campaign, be sure to save yourself some pain, and you can see the strategy in-game by checking out the campaign where I revived paganism and the Celtic culture. For our next CK3 secret, we're going to cover how you can single-handedly rout armies and stack wipe almost any type of enemy force instantly. If you're looking to Slav squat and Torebka Hrbati over every body, you have to check out the Coney of Eastern Europe, arguably the most overpowered special unit in the entire game. Available to Polish, Polabian, Pomeranian, or any culture with the Coney raid tradition, these grandfathers of the Hussars melt any and every type of opposition, and can erase all routing units on account of them having the highest amount of pursuit in the entire game. Even with similarly matched army sizes, 2012 Conies can stack wipe your enemy right out of the fight, and in many cases permit you to end wars without a single siege. Conies are cost-effective and the highest valued retinue ducats can buy. And speaking of ducats, this video is sponsored by Masterworks. A good kingdom is nothing without finances, and tall income streams are crucial to obtain buckets of ducats. With modern markets decimated by a perfect storm of global events, experts are saying that most portfolios will literally flatline, and that's if you're lucky. So what are modern people doing to improve their stewardship? They're investing in art. Just like a good court is full of tapestries and sculptures, over 85% of modern-day wealth managers recommend art as a part of a portfolio. The New York Times writes, when stock markets take a nosedive, people look to invest in art. Masterworks helps people keep their ducats intact by offering fractional investments in the art world, and they've already sold 5 paintings with an average net return of 26.8%. Demand for Masterworks is through the roof, and there is a waitlist, but luckily my viewers can click the link in the description to skip it and make a free account in just a few clicks. And speaking of a few clicks, you can also Thanos snap your entire court with one small trick, allowing you to fire your unloyal vassals and freeing you from their faction demands. I dug around in the files and found that if you host a feast and your rivals attend, you'll get the secret event to initiate a Red Wedding. This event fired during my Sino-Roman campaign and grants the twin options of purging everyone, or allowing you to attempt to limit the fire to your rivals by warning your friends and family. Fire isn't too picky about favorites, and even though we warned our cousins, we might have burnt a few too many bridges. All in all, you'll get 33 dread, liquidate your enemies, and the stark satisfaction of a job well done. But be sure to leave your guests in the oven until well done, or else you'll have an awkward situation. For a more secretive formation, playing as a Basque-cultured nation provides a hidden opportunity after the Iberian update. The forgotten faith of Zahl can be revived by a unique decision, which requires you to be an adult Basque character, own an independent country, bring Basque control over your cultural counties, and be either a sinner, cynical, excommunicated, rivals with the Pope, or have 2 traits considered sinful by Catholicism. Through the power of education, you can groom your heir into cynicism and sin, and when they come of age, they'll be able to champion the faith of the country Basques and revive this rare religion via decision. You'll have the choice of customizing whether it's militaristic, naturalistic, Islamically syncretic, or unreformed, and Zahl's holy sites are all within close proximity, making it easy to launch a reformation. Once you go Basque, you never go back, and as one of the only faiths that worship giants, Zahl can take you Nafara. You wouldn't stick, you're clicking crazy, but in CK3, lunacy is low-key one of the best modifiers to have on any of your characters. This is because lunatic lords and ladies can conjure a unique secret building that adds an entirely new building slot to your capital province. When your character becomes crazy, you'll receive a semi-random event once you have the prestige level of Distinguished, upon which you can then create a glass monument building via decision for 150 prestige and a small amount of ducats. Your crazed character will then spawn a greenhouse in your capital county, which grants you +1 tax per month for your holding, plus 25% development growth in the entire county, and gives a sizable health boost to its holder, along with +1 prestige every month. This is one of the best buildings in the entire game, particularly for playing tall in 1 or 2 counties, and as it adds an entire new building slot to any of your holdings, you can even opt to replace it with other buildings. This nice piece of glass is currently the only way to add building slots to a county, and you can usually obtain lunacy easily by hitting the maximum amount of stress, but you should check with your doctor if level 3 stress is right for you. You might have once found yourself looking at the Pope's hat and wondering if it's possible to obtain the PayPal power for yourself. Well, it used to be, with a long and mechanically difficult method that required dismantling the papacy and converting him to a tribal one-province minor by blessing his reign down in Africa. But this has been patched out because no fun is allowed. Thankfully, Redditor Dr. Sandwich 8 has devised a new method for patch 1.6, and instead of becoming Pope yourself, you can now appoint your siblings or spawnlings to the Holy See. This simple strategy requires you to be a Catholic emperor and vassalize the Pope via a de jure casus belli. Next, you'll need to revoke all of his titles except for the county of Roma, ensure all other counties of Latium are landed, and commit self-righteous suicide or die naturally to have an unlanded child inherit the kingdom or duchy of Romagna via partition. You'll need to make sure that the inheritor is not your primary heir, as if they are, you'll get a game over, as you can't technically play as the Pope. If you do it correctly, you'll have a dynastic pope, and this works for females too, allowing you to break through the Sistine ceiling. Immortality is long gone from CK3, as there are currently no supernatural ways of obtaining it like in CK2, but functionally, immortality might be possible. This is because aging in CK3 is based around the in-game mechanic of health, an RNG variable modifier that randomly lowers every year after the age of 25, and results in death when any given character hits 0. Most human characters start around 5 when they are born, but some, like Heystein the Viking, start around 7 and live almost twice as long. But what if I told you Heystein was not the healthiest human? As an Easter egg joke, the Paradox developers added in fellow game designer and the healthiest human to ever live, and his name is Iwan the Trustworthy, a 27-year-old unlanded steward in the 1066 starting date. Don't let this drunkard, feeble, imbecile, weak, one-eyed, one-legged, and maimed man fool you, as despite these traits, true heroes never die. Iwan has a starting health of 14, making this severely stunted steward almost 3 times healthier than a newborn baby male. If you land him and play as him, you can stack the medicine lifestyle focus, wash your hands, obtain a whole body, unlock the healthy tenant, obtain health modifying artifacts, adopt a dog, and aim for the strong blood and witch coven decisions, making it theoretically possible to survive into your 200s. Living long and prospering sounds like my idea of a good campaign, so let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see me try to live the longest life possible in CK3, and it might end up as a card in the top right of your screen. Before ending the video, I'd like to thank you for watching this far, and I implore you to adopt the like button and slide into the subscription box. It's free and helps me, and on this channel you can find a variety of guides, content, and challenges, like our last video in RimWorld, which is in deep meat of views. If you want to help me fund an editor for faster future content, consider donating to my Patreon, or donating basic attention tokens to AlzaboHD through the Brave browser. This video was sponsored by Masterworks, and I invite you to check out the description box and pinned comment below to find out more information. May your consoles always be commanded, and it's time now to roll the credits.